Mustangs, one of your top priorities today is to make sure that the goal we were working on yesterday is completed before the end of the day. That is, that you have set up and organized your by the student, by the standard mastery tracker. We did have a few hiccups yesterday. I know when you went to go use it, that a few of the teachers were missing. And then also that step where I told you to click on the error message or the reference message and hit allow access wasn't there. Those should both be fixed today. So give it another shot. Once again, we want you to go through the steps that we showed you yesterday. I'll include those here if you want to watch it through again another time. And make sure that you get your name, your student ID number, and all of your teachers listed. And then allow access on each of those pages so that you can immediately see how you are doing in each of your courses as far as mastery goes. Remember, that's an important thing your teachers are studying and watching carefully, but there's no one more important to know how you're learning than you yourself. It's important to know where you're at and what things you've mastered, what things you still need to master, and to keep working on those. So we'll make that the top priority. We're going to have some other activities in Mustang Room as well, but that's priority number one, is to make sure you get your by the student, by the standard mastery tracker all set up. Good luck.
To access the student edition of the By the Student, By the Standard tracker, you can either use the link in your Mustang Room Google Slides, get a link from your teacher, or visit our website, westlakestem.org, and click on the Mustang Room page. The Mustang Room page has important links for students. If I scroll over there, I can see the By the Student, By the Standard tracker in the B section. So I click on that, and immediately it's going to ask me to make a copy. You get to make your own copy of the By the Student, By the Standard Mastery Tracker for your own Google Drive. So I click on Make a Copy, and now this is a copy that should live on my Chromebook or be accessed from my Google Drive from home that is in my own Google Drive account. Because it's my very own, I can actually change the name to what I would like. I'm going to change it to my own name so that I know that this one is for me. After that, you should start on a tab where you need to provide the tracker some information. You'll notice down along the bottom, there are several tabs. The first one is your student info, and after that, it's going to show you how you're doing on your mastery in each of your classes. So please fill out the student info part first, or none of the other tabs will work. You do that by filling out each of these empty cells. Student name, Mr. Howe. Student ID, and this is just an example one, I'm going to put down my student ID number. Then you need to select each of your teachers. You can do that by clicking on the drop down. I'm in Mr. Armentrout's math class. I also then have Mrs. Bigelow for my second period teacher. Mrs. Bowman is my third period teacher. Fourth period is Mrs. Brundage, and then my fifth period teacher is Mrs. Carroll for French. Once I have filled out all of the student information on the first tab, I can then go to each of the other tabs to see the information of how I'm doing in those classes. So I click on my first period. You'll notice something immediately. It will look like it's not working because there's one more step you need to do to allow access to the data. You see some formulas that say #reference ! When I hover over that or click on that, it says you need to connect these sheets. And I simply need to come over and touch the button that says Allow Access. It will then pull the information from Mr. Armentrout's data about what standards I've been working on and how well I've done on those standards. It's going to show me that data for Mr. Armentrout's math class. I need to do that step for each of my class periods using each of the tabs at the bottom. When I go to second period, it once again is going to look like it's not working for Mrs. Bigelow's health class. I need to hover over that formula, click Allow Access, and it will once again pull the data for Mrs. Bigelow's by the Standard Mastery Tracker to show me how am I doing in her class right now and mastering these standards. I do the same for my third period, hover over it, click Allow Access, and then I will see the data for that class, Mrs. Bowman's. Fourth period, same thing, hover over it, click Allow Access, then I can see how I'm doing in science class. Finally, fifth period, hover over it, click Allow Access, and then I can see how I'm doing in my French class. Now, I only need to do that step the first time I set this up. So after this, you won't need to click on that anymore. Every time I visit these, it will show me how I'm doing on all of the common formative assessments, and my level of proficiency. The second my teacher inputs a score, I will be able to see it from here. So this is a very important place to bookmark and to keep on tabs throughout the school year. So I would actually come up, and you can't quite see it because it's off the screen there, but I'm going to bookmark this page, and I would save that as anything I'd like to. I'm going to call it Mr. Howe's Google Sheets, and I'd hit done. Then once I've got a bookmark saved, I can always quickly access this spreadsheet to see how I'm doing in my classes. Check it every day, check it every period if you'd like. It's great to know how well you're doing and to track your own progress towards mastery. All right, Mustangs, that's it. Hopefully you now have your By the Student, By the Standard Mastery Tracker set up. You'll want to revisit it frequently and see how you're doing. Thank you, Mustangs.